What if I told you that some handguns might look innocent at first, but once you shoot them, you'll quickly realize they pack a punch you didn't expect? In this video, we're counting down the best handguns ranked from least to most insane. Some of these guns will surprise you not because they're flashy or famous, but because of how they perform when you pull that trigger. We're talking recoil, stopping power, and overall design, and trust me, some of these guns could leave you in shock. From those that are perfect for beginners to the ones that'll make even the most experienced shooter sweat, you won't want to miss this. By the time we reach the top spot, you'll see just how far the boundaries of handgun design can be pushed and maybe question why some of them even exist. Stay tuned. Let's start with the gun everybody thinks they know, the Glock 17. Only this one's the MOS edition, the so-called modernized workhorse. I've seen more of these in holsters than I've seen bat tattoos at a gun show. Cops run them, newbies rent them, and every so often, some Instagram hero slaps a light, a comp, and a red dot on one and calls it a build. But here's the thing. Laugh all you want at the Glock cult. This thing just won't die. I watched a rental case Glock 17 MOS that looked like it had been chewed by a pit bull still chew through a box of rusty reloads without a single hiccup. Slight looked like it survived a sandblaster, grip polished slick by 1,000 greasy palms, and still the gun barked every time the trigger dropped. That's Glock's dark magic. They don't impress you with flash, they beat you into respect with boredom that just keeps working. The MOS cut means you can bolt on your favorite red dot without milling, without paying some gunsmith half the price of the pistol to drill it. It's plug and play, idiot proof, and exactly why departments love it. Recoil, mild. Trigger, predictable. Maintenance, almost insulting in its simplicity. You feel strip it in less time than it takes to microwave leftovers. Is it insane? Nope. But it's the unkillable zombie at the bottom of this list. Not flashy, not exotic, just the gun that refuses to leave the party no matter how many times you try to kick it out. Now let's crank that dial from boring to borderline psychotic. The 6-hour P320X5 Legion isn't a carry gun, it's a flex. The first time I picked one up, I nearly dropped it, not because it's awkward, but because it's heavy. That tungsten-infused grip feels like it's been eating creatine shakes for breakfast. You don't realize how much weight matters until you watch the muzzle barely twitch during rapid fire. I ran it in a local steel match against guys with tuned Glocks and tricked out CZs, and the X5 Legion made them look like they were fighting their own recoil. Split times, stupid fast. Groups, laser tight. The skeletonized trigger breaks so clean, it feels like it's reading your thoughts before your finger even moves. It's the kind of gun that embarrasses you if you hesitate because it's begging to run faster than you can. A buddy of mine, a die-hard Glock guy, swapped into it mid-drill and just shook his head. Feels like cheating, he muttered. That's the Legion vibe. It isn't just a pistol, it's a show of dominance. Every detail screams competition monster. Balance, weight, precision. The kind of tool you don't buy to play cans, you buy to humiliate the guy next to you on the line. Bottom line, the Glock 17 MOS is the old soldier that won't quit. The 6-hour P320X5 Legion is the gladiator that steps into the arena already holding your pride in its teeth. I used to call the M&P the work boot of pistols. Solid, dependable, but nothing to brag about. So when Smith & Wesson announced they slapped a metal frame on the 2.0, I rolled my eyes. Great, I thought. They just painted the work boot. Then I actually shot one, and let me tell you, it didn't just prove me wrong, it made me eat my own damn words. We were running a weekend training course, weather garbage, mud everywhere, gear getting tossed on gravel between drills. By stage 2, the polymer guns were showing their cracks, triggers getting spongy, frames flexing just enough to throw shots. My buddy handed me the M&P9 metal, and from the first mag, I knew this was a whole different beast. Recoil, gone. Slide, tracked smoother than I'd ever felt on an MP. That little wiggle the polymer always gave me, dead. The grip texture locked in, the flat-faced trigger snapped crisp, and suddenly I wasn't thinking about running drills. The gun was doing the work for me. When I dumped it in the gravel with the rest of the class, racked it once, and it still ran like nothing happened, I almost laughed out loud. Yeah, it's heavier. Yeah, carrying it all day feels like strapping a dumbbell to your hip. But on the line, it stomped where the old M&P shuffled. The quiet work boot turned into a steel toe, and it kicked every doubt I had straight in the teeth. The first time I saw the Beretta 92X performance, I cracked a joke. Big, shiny, all steel. Looked like something Vin Diesel would wave around in a bad action flick. I figured it'd be another oversized anchor that shot like a boat paddle. Then the buzzer went off, and I shut my mouth real quick. The 92X didn't just shoot, it glided. That steel frame ate recoil like it was starving. The adjustable trigger snapped clean, the competition sights locked on target like magnets, and suddenly the big shiny anchor felt like it had been built just for my hands. By the second mag, I wasn't fighting the gun, I was just hanging on while it made me look better than I was. I ran it against my Glock 34 at a local match, cocky as hell, and the Beretta humiliated me. Splits were faster, groups tighter, transitions smoother. It exposed every lazy habit I thought I was getting away with. By the end of the day, I wasn't laughing at the 92X anymore. I was pissed that it made my so-called competition gun look like a training wheel. The 92X doesn't just demand respect, it slaps you across the face and takes it. The Walther Q5 Match SF isn't just a pistol, it's a show-off. You don't pull this thing out at the range unless you're ready for stares. Steel frame gleaming, cuts in the slide like it's been tuned in some underground lab. I watched a guy drop one at the bench and half the line leaned over like kids seeing a Ferrari for the first time. Then he ran it and silence. Not polite silence, angry silence. The kind where you realize your tricked out Glock just got outclassed by something that wasn't even breaking a sweat. Splits were disrespectful, groups stacked like a stapler, the trigger was so clean it felt illegal. When I finally got my hands on it, I didn't shoot better, the gun forced me to. It punished hesitation, rewarded aggression, and made me feel like a fraud when I slowed down. The Walther Q5 Match SF is a competition beast with a steel frame that tames recoil to a whisper. Its trigger is so crisp, 4 pounds with a near instant reset, it practically dares you to shoot faster. Your other pistols, they feel like they're still in training. The Shadow 2 Orange doesn't care about your feelings. It's not here to be practical or affordable or even reasonable. It's here to flex, and if you're not ready, it'll chew you up and spit you out. The first time I saw one, I laughed. Orange accents, custom grips, the kind of pistol that screams midlife crisis. Then a guy ran it through a stage and the joke instantly died. His dot didn't move, his trigger sounded like rapid-fire piano keys, and when the buzzer ended, everyone looked like they'd just seen black magic. Running it myself was worse. It made me aggressive in a way I wasn't ready for. Trigger feather light, recoil gone, the gun basically yelling at me to shoot faster, and I did. By the time I holstered it, my serious competition setup felt like a cap gun. The CZ Shadow 2 Orange is a competition gun with a feather-light trigger and minimal recoil, perfect for shooters chasing top scores in USPSA matches. Its bold orange grips scream confidence, but its precision will make your rivals jealous. Let me tell you how this gun tricked me. I was helping a buddy run a low-light drill and figured I'd flex with my Hellcat Pro while he fiddled with his Glock 43X MOS. Halfway through, I'm watching him snap off strings like he's got recoil turned off. I called BS, grabbed his pistol just to prove him wrong, and that's when it happened. The damn thing felt like it had been glued to my hand. The dot sat still, the groups tightened up, and the gun shot so smooth I actually stopped mid-drill and muttered, "What the hell just happened?" 10 rounds felt like 20 because they all hit where they were supposed to. That's the thing about the 43X MOS. It doesn't scream for attention, it just sneaks in, humiliates your better carry gun, and leaves you wondering why you didn't give it a chance sooner. There's always that one gun that ruins your loyalty, and for me, it was the SIG P365X Macro Tacops. I've been faithful to my Glock rotation for years until a student, yes, a student, starts running the X Macro like it was a race gun. At first, I thought he was just hot-dogging it, but then I stepped up with it myself, and suddenly, 17 rounds vanished into one ragged hole before I even realized I was halfway through the mag. The steel frame tames recoil like a full size, the trigger slaps back begging you to go faster, and the night sights make low-light drills feel like cheating. I didn't want to like it, I wanted to roast it. But the X Macro didn't care about my feelings. It just kept punching, smoother and faster than pistols twice its size, and I walked away knowing my so-called trusty carry gun had been replaced right on the spot. I was at the range watching the skinny kid with a pistol that looked way too small for his hands. Everyone smirked. The usual carry gun toy vibes. Then the buzzer went off. Mag dump, dot glued, 17 rounds stacked so tight we actually walked downrange just to check if he'd missed. Nope, all center. Meanwhile, my serious duty-sized gun looked like it had been fired by a drunk raccoon. He handed it to me and said, "Try it." I figured it had bucked like every other micro, but instead, the recoil vanished, the trigger snapped like it owed me money, and I actually muttered, "What the hell just happened?" That was the moment I realized I'd been clowning the wrong guns. The little bastard was the Hellcat Pro RDP, and it just turned a compact into a damn cheat code. Later that same week, I saw a different kind of disrespect. Instructor drops his pistol on purpose into gravel mid-drill, picks it up, racks it like he's been cracking a beer can, and keeps shooting. No jam, no sputter, no limp pause. Just boom, boom, boom. Like the fall never even happened. I thought it was staged and all until he tossed it my way. First mag, and I got it. The slide barely moved, the weight soaked the recoil, and the trigger had that clean break that makes you greedy for faster splits. Other guns on the line were choking on reloads. This thing ate them like breakfast. It didn't feel like a carry pistol, it felt like a compact sledgehammer dressed up for work. That tank? Effin' 509 Compact Tactical. The kind of pistol that doesn't ask if you trust it, it dares you not to. I've handled enough compact pistols to know the drill. They usually bark hard, jump around, and make you feel like you're fighting the gun instead of running it. So when someone handed me this little Walther, I figured it'd be another cute carry piece that prints decent groups if you baby it. Wrong. The first mag felt like I'd accidentally switched on a cheat code. The dot snapped into place like it was magnetized, the trigger wall broke cleaner than I deserved, and the recoil? Barely even there. My buddy Mia runs USPSA weekends, and I watched her clean 15-yard headshots under the clock like she was swatting flies. only time it bit back was when she fumbled a reload and those serrations sliced her hand open. She just grinned and kept going. That's the kind of pistol this is. One that'll make you bleed a little, then make you love it anyway. Here's the thing about cheap pistols. I don't trust them. Too many times I've seen budget guns turn into jam factories halfway through a box of ammo. But this Canik, it pissed me off because it worked too well. $400 and it shoots like something that should cost twice that much. The trigger, 4 pounds of glass-breaking goodness. The fiber optic front sight lit up like a traffic flare, and the recoil impulse was so chill it made guns double the price feel sloppy. I even saw a CCW holder online by the name of Maria share how hers kept her steady during a gas station robbery. No jams, no stutters, just smooth, controlled shots until cops rolled in. The only gripe is the mag release, stiff as a mule at first, but honestly, if your budget gun has me stacking groups tighter than my Glock, I'll forgive a stubborn button. This little bastard isn't supposed to be this good, but it is. The first time I pressed the trigger on this thing, I flinched at a sound that hadn't happened yet. Then, the round left like it stole something. Flat, violent, gone. Steel plates out past, are we still calling this pistol distance? Sang like dinner bells. And somehow, the gun didn't try to climb into the rafters. Recoil felt managed, like a line breaker wearing velvet gloves. Carlos, the long-range lunatic who brought it, called it a sidearm with main character energy, and that's exactly it. Everything about the PSD is sci-fi sinister. The profile, the attitude, the way it bullies distance into acting like a formality. Downsides? Your wallet will cry uncle and your ammo budget will start a GoFundMe. But the first time you watch a handgun act like it forgot it wasn't a carbine, you'll start grinning and won't stop. This isn't a purchase, it's a dare. If a pistol and spaceship had an offspring that refused to respect muzzle flip, this would be the baby. The alien doesn't cycle, it teleports. That fixed top rail and freak low bore axis turn recoil into a rumor. Dot stays welded on the A-zone while your brain catches up. First mag, I thought I was having a good day. Third mag, I realized the gun was having a good day and I was just lucky enough to be holding it. The trigger breaks like a bad habit, the slide glides like it's on Teflon, and everyone around you gets real quiet because they're trying to figure out why their guns suddenly feel old. Yes, the price tag is a nosebleed. Yes, you'll be that person at the range. But when a pistol sifts your flaws out of the equation and leaves only speed and truth, it stops being gear and becomes a cheat code. The alien doesn't run drills, it rewrites them. Some revolvers bark and buck like they're trying to leave your hand. This one just smirks and stays glued to the line. The Chiappa Rhino 60 DS fires from the bottom chamber, so the bore sits stupid low and sends recoil straight into your forearm instead of flipping your wrist into orbit. Jake, resident wheel gun purist who thinks stainless and wood are a religion, brought his 357 to a weekend match and started carving double taps that looked illegal. The muzzle barely twitched. The front sight felt stapled to the A-zone. DA pulls rolls like a velvet ramp, SA breaks like a dry twig, and the hex-edged profile looks like a prop from a dystopian cop show. It's a 6-shot with a 6-inch barrel, so nope, you're not stuffing this under gym shorts, but not tiny isn't the same as not fast. Give it 3 cylinders, and you forget every grandpa revolver you ever tolerated. Quirky? Absolutely. Effective? Brutally. The Rhino doesn't kick, it points, and things obey. Most pistols climb, but this one refuses. The Arsenal Strike 1 keeps the barrel traveling dead straight in recoil with its AF speed lock system. No tilting, no drama. So the slide tracks like it's on rails and the dot barely leaves home. First mag, I caught myself waiting for the usual flip, and it never showed. The bore axis sits down in the basement, the frame hugs your hand without hot spots, and the trigger snaps clean instead of squishing. It feels like somebody translated go faster into mechanics, flatter impulse, shorter recovery, greedier split times. On paper, it's just another Polymer 9. On the timer, it's a quiet humiliation machine. You won't buy it for the aftermarket bingo card, you buy it because it bullies physics into being reasonable. The vibe is sci-fi, the results are blue collar. Hit stack, transition smooth out, and you start pushing stages you had no business pushing. It isn't conventional, and that's the point. Strike One doesn't argue, it proves. Some guns whisper, the Cor NXR 44 Magnum roars like a thunderclap. The first time you heft it, you don't just feel weight, you feel authority. Chambered in the infamous 44 Magnum, this revolver carries raw force in every chamber, yet somehow smooths it into an experience instead of a punishment. The cylinder locks up with bank vault certainty, the action glides like oiled glass, and each pull of the trigger feels less like firing and more like commanding an earthquake. The recoil isn't gone, don't kid yourself, but the NXR channels it straight back, turning chaos into control. And then there's the look. Machine-turned precision, sculpted barrel, checkered grips that lock into your palms like they were carved just for you. It's luxury wrapped around brutality, a revolver as much art as weapon. If you're soft, it'll chew you up. But if you can ride the kick, it isn't just shooting, it's taming a beast. This isn't just shooting, it's taming a beast. And it's one of the most intoxicating rides you'll ever take. And then there's the B&T USWA-1, the pistol that refuses to stay in its lane. 1 second it's riding on your hip like any other sidearm, and the next, click. The folding stock snaps out, and suddenly you're running a mini carbine that eats up distance you never thought a handgun could cover. Lena, a cop buddy of mine, once used hers to shut down chaos at a festival. 50 yards, moving target, crowd all around. She locked in with a red dot and put rounds exactly where they needed to go. Watching it work, you would swear she was shooting a rifle, not a 9mm sidearm. The recoil is so tame, it feels like you've been given cheat codes. The transition's faster than some full-sized carbines. The only gripe though? The stock release is a little fiddly if you're fumbling under pressure. But when it locks, it locks. Compact, tactical, unfairly versatile. The USWA-1 isn't just a pistol, it's a secret weapon hiding in plain sight. I've seen shotguns bark quieter than this thing. Marcus, a buddy who thought he had seen it all, picked up a Desert Eagle in 50 AE and figured his range experience had him covered. First shot, boom. Not a handgun crack, not even a Magnum bark. A full-blown cannon blast that shook dust off the ceiling. He damn near lost his grip, and everyone on the line snapped their heads around like a car crash had just happened. But here's the kicker. Once he settled in, the big brick started printing tight grooves at 25 yards like it was bored of showing off. It's stupid heavy, stupid expensive, and stupid fun. A carry piece? Forget it. But if you want to walk into the range and shut down every conversation in the room, the Desert Eagle doesn't just do the job, it owns the room. And then there's the BFR. Imagine someone looking at a classic rifle round, the 45-70, and saying, yeah, let's cram that into a revolver. That's not engineering, that's madness with machine tools. I took mine out to the desert, cocky as hell, squeezed the trigger, and got mule kicked so hard I nearly took a step back. The boom rolled across the canyon, and I swear I saw a coyote sprinting for the horizon. But the real insanity? The thing actually hits. 50-yard steel rang like a church bell, shot after shot, as if this ridiculous hand cannon was built for precision as much as chaos. You don't carry it, you don't conceal it, you wield it. It's less of a sidearm and more of a statement that goes, I came here to end arguments. Heavy as sin, loud as thunder, but if you want the most ridiculous rush you can have with a revolver, the BFR isn't a gun, it's an event. Some revolvers test your grip. The Smith & Wesson 500 tests your soul. Chambered in the ridiculous 500 S&W Magnum, this wheel gun was built for big game hunters who thought rifles were overrated. The first time I lit one off, I swear the earth tilted. The recoil isn't just heavy, it's violent. A tidal wave rolling back through your arms, daring you to hang on. But here's the sick joke. Underneath all that chaos, the thing is precise. Steel plates at 30 yards? Obliterated. Hunting silhouettes? Gone. The gun wants to punish you, but it also rewards discipline, landing shots with surprising consistency. Don't fool yourself into thinking this is practical. It's massive, heavy, and will wear you down after a few cylinders, but the 500 isn't here to be practical, it exists to prove a point. Smith & Wesson makes the king of hand cannons. If you want to know what overkill feels like when it's dressed in stainless steel, this baby is it. The Automag isn't just a pistol, it's a time machine that skips straight to an action movie gunfight. First glance, it looks like a prop that Schwarzenegger should be holding in an 80s flick. But then you squeeze the trigger and it really hits hard. The 44 AMP round is brutal, launching out of that long barrel with recoil that kicks like a mule hopped up on caffeine. First shot I fired, I actually laughed out loud. It's that absurd. But after a few mags, something weird happens. You start syncing with it. The weight, the balance, the way the barrel tracks, it all just comes together, and suddenly, this futuristic beast feels natural. Accuracy? Shockingly good once you settle into its rhythm. Practical carry gun? Absolutely not. But that's missing the point. The Automag is about spectacle, power, and grinning like an idiot every time you send another thunderclap downrange. It's insane, it's impractical, and it's unforgettable. The exact reason it deserves its cult legend status. Most snub revolvers bark, but this one detonates. The Alaskan packs 454 Castle, a cartridge usually reserved for hunting rifles, into a wheel gun you can actually holster. First time I pulled the trigger, it felt like someone had just set off a stick of dynamite in my hand. The recoil punched back so hard my shoulders braced before my brain even caught up, and yet it wasn't uncontrollable. Ruger overbuilt this tank so well it absorbs just enough of the chaos to keep you on target. Compact? Yep, it'll disappear under a jacket. Practical? Only if your everyday treat is a grizzly, but that's the beauty of it. The Alaskan isn't for casual shooters, it's for people who want a revolver that can stop a bear dead in its track and still group tight at 25 yards. It means it's ugly in a lovable way, and it's one of the few guns that makes you laugh after it tries to break your wrists. Every match has that guy, the one who shows up with a pistol so flashy that everyone rolls their eyes. That was the DVC-3 gun the first time I saw it. Bright fiber sights, race gun vibes, $2,500 price tag. We all joked it was a gamer toy for people who couldn't shoot real guns. Then the buzzer went off, and by stage 2, nobody was laughing. The guy was cutting splits so fast the timer couldn't even keep up. His dot barely twitched while the rest of us were wrestling recoil like cavemen with rocks. I swapped with him just to prove the gun was carrying him, and spoiler alert, it carried me. The trigger felt illegal. Recoil? Gone. It turned my average shooting into highlight reel nonsense. Only catch? Jake pinched his thumb to hell reloading on those aggressive serrations, but he still finished the match smiling. The DVC isn't a pistol, it's a cheat code disguised as competition gear. The TRS Comp is one of those guns you want to hate, but can't. First time I touched one, I thought, here we go, another $4K safe queen built for guys who polish instead of shoot. Then I pulled the trigger and it ruined me. The break wasn't crisp, it was telepathic. The built-in comp flattened recoil so hard I thought the ammo was downloaded. One of the guys running it blew through a stage like he was on rails. Dot never missing, shots stacking like a printer spitting paper. We all stopped mid-match just to watch because it looked fake. When I finally ran it, I realized why Nighthawk charges stupid money. This isn't a pistol, it's perfection sold retail. Fit, finish, balance. Every detail screams obsession. You don't just shoot it, it rewires you. After that, going back to a normal 2011 felt like picking up a brick. The TRS Comp isn't a gun, it's witchcraft with a price tag. Every once in a while, you come across a pistol that feels like it was built in a secret lab for just one purpose: domination. That's the Tanfoglio Gold Match Extreme. Forget competition-ready marketing fluff, this thing is basically a race car with a trigger. First time I saw one in action, a guy unzipped his bag at a local USPSA match and the entire firing line leaned in. Sleek slide, sculpted grip, oversized controls. It didn't look like something you buy off the shelf, it looked like it came with a pit crew. And the moment the buzzer went off, you got it. His first two shots snapped off like an echo, barely any muzzle flip, and the groupings were so tight, people were squinting to see if he'd actually double-tapped holes. That trigger, it's criminal. Breaks like glass, resets like lightning, zero hesitation. And the ergonomics make you feel less like you're holding a pistol and more like the pistol is holding you. It's not fair, but that is the point. This is not a handgun, my friends. It's a flex. The HK Mark 23 was never designed with you or me in mind. It was built because SOCOM sat down in the 90s and said, give us a sidearm that can survive the apocalypse, and Heckler & Koch delivered a monster. The thing is comically huge. You don't slip this into a holster, you holster it, and suddenly your pants sag. But that ridiculous size hides what it really is. One of the most overbuilt, reliable, and straight-shooting 45 ACP pistols ever made. Suppressor ready? Check. Match-grade accuracy? Check. Endurance that outlasts your wrist? Oh yeah. Fire it once, and the recoil feels like it's absorbed by the sheer mass of the frame. Screw on a suppressor, and it turns into the world's quietest wrecking ball, spitting out heavy 45s like it's nothing. The Mark 23 isn't practical, it's not affordable, and it's not subtle. But that's exactly why it's legendary. It's less a pistol and more a war trophy you can actually buy. A symbol of military excess that for once actually earned its height. The 5.7 is the pistol that makes gun snobs fight in the comments. Some call it a gimmick, others call it a revolution, but nobody calls it boring. First time I held one, I laughed. It felt like a Nerf blaster. Feather light, all polymer, like it couldn't possibly mean business. Then I fired it and my jaw hit the floor. The 5.7 by 28mm round is no joke. It screams out of the barrel like it's late for a flight. Flat shooting, stupidly fast, and so easy to control, it feels like cheating. The MRD version only ups the game with an optics-ready slide. Slap on a red dot, and suddenly you're snapping onto targets like you're playing Call of Duty with aim assist. And the capacity? 20 round standard. That's double what most serious carry guns give you, all without the bulk. Critics whine the round is too small, but ask anyone who shot it. This thing is surgical. The 5.7 isn't just a gun, it's a statement. Weird, futuristic, light as air, and still running laps around handguns that think they're serious. Some pistols whisper, the M93R screams. This isn't your average sidearm. It's a pistol that decided it was bored of being polite and learned how to dump an entire mag in a blink. Built in the late 70s for anti-terror units, the Beretta M93R came with a party trick. Flip the selector, and suddenly you're in 3-round burst or full auto chaos. First time I saw one run, the shooter grinned like he had stolen it from a sci-fi movie. 15 rounds gone in seconds, brass raining like confetti, and that iconic flipping foregrip actually doing just enough to keep the gun from climbing to the ceiling. Yeah, it's bulky, and yeah, you'll burn through ammo like a rock star trashes hotel rooms, but that's the point. This isn't a carry piece, it's controlled mayhem. You don't buy an M93R because it's practical, you buy it because it's the closest thing to a legal handheld machine you'll ever get. A pistol that looks cool, feels cooler, and reminds you that sometimes overkill is the whole idea. Every now and then, you pick up a gun that doesn't just shoot, it tells a story. The Mauser C96 is that gun. Nicknamed the Broomhandle because of its odd grip, it looks like something a time traveler smuggled out of the 1890s, and in a way, it is. This pistol was one of the first mass-produced semi-autos, and it wasn't just ahead of its time, it defined its time. Winston Churchill carried one in battle. Han Solo's blaster straight up modeled after it. At the range, it feels weird at first, like holding a block of wood with a barrel attached, but then you pull the trigger and the accuracy smacks you back to reality. That 7.63 Mauser round is zippy, flat shooting, and surprisingly easy to manage. It's not about firepower, it's about heritage. The C96 feels less like a weapon and more like a relic that refuses to fade away. Owning one isn't just collecting, it's time travel with a magazine. If you've ever wanted to shoot history itself, this is your Broomhandle ticket. Let's wrap this up with the Webley-Fosbery automatic revolver, one of the most innovative and weirdest guns ever made. When you first see the Webley-Fosbery, you might think, is this a revolver or a semi-auto pistol? The truth is, it's both. The automatic mechanism on this revolver is unique, and it's one of the few handguns to feature semi-automatic action in a revolver design. This gun's rotating cylinder automatically reloads after every shot, giving you a full self-loading revolver. When I shot it, I had a blast, pun intended. The recoil is pretty manageable, and the trigger feels smooth. The design is quirky, but that's what makes the Webley-Fosbery so cool. It's a piece of history built with a unique mechanism that was ahead of its time. It's not the most practical weapon today, but if you're a collector or someone who appreciates gun innovation, the Webley-Fosbery automatic revolver is a gun you'll love to shoot. From the unkillable Glock 17 MOS to the wrist-breaking S&W 500, these handguns prove insanity comes in all shapes and sizes. Which one's your pick for your next range day or your dream collection? Every pistol on this list had a purpose, some steady, some brutal, some so unhinged they feel like dares more than tools. You don't hang them on the wall to admire, you don't whisper to them like they're pets. You load them, run them, and trust that when the noise starts, they'll answer. But here's the kicker. In 2025, guns like these don't wait around. The reliable ones vanish first, the exotic ones double in price, and the insane ones, they disappear into safes and collections locked away by people who didn't hesitate. So the choice is simple. You move now and lock down the piece that fits you, or drag your feet and watch it slip into someone else's hands. Too late is still too late. Drop it in the comments and let's see who's chasing the wildest firepower.